So when you see these lights, the aurora, the northern lights, this is the false illumination that's talked about in the Bible, the false light. Because this is a result of the magnetic field. As I said in my last video, when the poles shift, it creates leaks in the magnetic field, and that's what creates the lights. That's why in my last video I showed this. That's what creates those lights. So I was even deceived by this, because the last time I saw the northern lights, because we've seen them a lot in the past few years, I said, oh, that's the colors of God's throne. No, because it looks like the colors of it, but that's why it's the false light, because it comes as a result of the magnetic field, and the magnetic field is put in place by it originates in the core, which is where the false one is, and obviously the energy of the prince of this world. So obviously this is where Lucifer was casted down to, and then Adam and Eve with the original sin. So prior to Jesus, it's not, God doesn't put this in place, but he knows that the prince of this world does this for many reasons, okay? It's a web of deception, a web of lies, a web of chaos, a web of confusion, a web of pulling the children of disobedience in to follow the false prince. And prior to Jesus, okay, there was nothing anybody could do about this, okay? Except, try to navigate, and you don't see it. Obviously here, this is a perfect example of how congested, because it's all about literally keeping you from seeing truly what heaven is, along with just keeping you in chaos with factions and just all this craziness that it just continues to go on, because you can never have anything lasting. Not when you have this going on. It's all over the Old Testament about the cords of entanglement. It's in Psalms, it's in Job. David, I think Psalms, David talks about, he gets caught up in the cords, the binding cords of entanglement. Yeah, that's what this is. Even where he hollers out to God, and God reaches down and he separates and pulls him out of the cords. That's what this is. So he runs this world. Then Jesus came, and Jesus paid the debt, sacrificed his life, and overcame him. He defeated him. He defeated the prince of this world. He overcame the world. He said it, he did. And then the apostles went on to do it just like Jesus, and after them, nobody did. Everybody after the apostles, from the first church on, elected to put this back in place. And I don't mean through a president, just everybody. Because again, it was really simple. What did Jesus do? What did every apostle do? They didn't take part in any of it. They were of the world. They were not, they were in the world, but not of the world. All 12 apostles did exactly what Jesus did. Surrender to God. That's it. Surrender to God and wait to hear from him. I mean, spread his word, but that's what they all did. That's what Jesus did, and that's what every one of the 12 apostles did. After John died, he was the last apostle. You had the first church there. Started with the book, made it all about them. Then every other church has done that. It's about the book, but nobody doing what the book says, which the book says surrender. It says, seek me, seek me, seek me. You need to seek him instead of making it all about the book. You need to seek him so you would understand that. What are you not understanding? You chose this. But theologians have gone on to say, oh, well, this is still, the prince. We can see the prince of deception is still at work. So how did God overcome the kingdom? Well, he did. He overcame it. But you still have free will. And after the apostles, after all 12, nobody realized along the way that you cannot do the divided loyalty. And that's what the prince of this world has done a fantastic job of doing. I'm not saying that God doesn't inspire leaders along the way and constitute. I'm not trying to say that, but it will not last. God will do those things with the hope, again, of wanting to get the people back to where the dominion was that he gave them, which is Eden. I don't think Eden was here. I think, like Lucifer was casted down, so were Adam and Eve. They came where he did. I think that Eden was in between heaven and earth. You wouldn't be able to see it with all this, though. So, sadly, God absolutely overcame it. He overcame all of it. So did the apostles. And then the church was created. And it's been downhill ever since. You can say, no, it's advanced. It's a surface level Christian. It's a surface level. Because somebody should have been able to figure it out by now. That it's not a matter of what theologians say that, oh, he overcame it, but not yet. No, don't say that. God he sacrificed himself. So the apostles did as well. And it was overcome. God said it, he did, he overcame him. And then the rest of mankind after the apostles and all of the Christian denominations that we'll never hear chose to divide their loyalty. You cannot. There's no doubt the magnetic field is what the Prince of Darkness keeps us under. It's like a cage. It's a cage. It's a web of lies, deceit. And you only know what, you can see, right? When you look up at the sky, but you don't know how much this magnetic field is keeping from you seeing the true one. So every country, everybody in the world, any Christian country in the world, let's say, definitely the West, all chose to put the prince of the power of the air. They elected him over God. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to say God is angry. I mean, God knew this would happen. But again, he keeps moving the people. Like you have to understand, you're not going. You will not create some lasting thing anywhere here. Because you're sharing dominion, and I wouldn't even say you're sharing it, because ultimately, given that God said he was the ruler, that the prince of the power of the air was the ruler of this world, then he's really, you don't even have much dominion. Only what he will allow you to have. But Jesus came and did everything he did so that people would follow him, much like the Israelites in Exodus. They had to completely depend on God. Completely. No divided loyalty. It wasn't, let's keep our foot in Egypt and we'll follow God. No, it had to be full surrender. And that's what Jesus absolutely did. There's no denying it. Put his arms to the point of putting his arms out, being nailed to a cross. I surrender to God. I will only surrender to God because I am not of the world. I am in the world. I am not of the world. So I will not take part in it because I will not divide my loyalty. So. Obviously, you can't get everybody. Most people will not do it. People will say that's not fair. Yeah, the Israelites would have said that too when they begged for God to take them out of their You're in the slavery system, okay? This is why, when people say nothing gets done, and it doesn't matter what time period. Yeah, because this is the problem. And the only way out of this problem is total surrender. You either are going to surrender to this one or God, but God will not accept a divided loyalty.